actually played this list like card for card in the challenge today.
Oh,
Um,
sweet.
yeah, I landed at like 10th, and then another list that's like 3 cards away in the main deck. They had one fewer land and 2 fewer protection spells, which made room for one more Tamiyo, one more personal tutor, and some sort of third thing that is escaping me right now. I think it was another cycler, a fourth cycler.
Oh, cool.
That actually made the top 8. So like a vaguely similar concept. Um, so list performing well, I guess.
That's awesome.
Broadly speaking.
What kinds of matchups did you face today?
Let's see. I think it was a I think I did not actually have any repeat matchups. There was a Blue Post, a Lone Pox, Blue Red Delver, Show and Tell. That's 4. Um, I played 3 other matches. I should be able to remember them. Bug something or other, some kind of mid-range deck.
Okay.
Death and Taxes. That's 6. A 7th deck of some variety that I should be able to remember. Uh
Oh, that's all right. It sounds like a pretty good
yeah.
spread, though.
Right. It's a good variety. I think the challenges these days, there's more people playing and there's more things being played.
For sure, for sure. While I'm getting set up in this league here for us, I put out a question on my YouTube like posts, and only one person responded. They have a question for you. A fellow named Gustavo, I believe that's their name. According, I'm drawing an inference from their YouTube user handle. They want to know what your favorite unconventional Doomsday card is.
I think pre power level errata, probably Vision Charm.
Yeah.
Post Final Fantasy rules update. Mm, tough call. To a certain extent, I don't think a ton of my choices are really that unusual. I think a good one.
What about Chancellor of the Annex? That's one that I see you play every now and again. And if, like, usually when you play a card, I'm like, I can like work my way to your thought process of like why it might be in the deck. But Chancellor of the Annex has always been one that I see and I'm like, huh, what's that doing here? Or like, what's the role, the like intended vision for that one?
Chancellor's it's generally used for the non-blue decks where their sideboard strategy is some mix of like discard spells and disruptor flute, or in the case of ancient tomb decks, just disruptor flute or Kozilek's command.
Okay.
So in game states where you're opening into them playing a Thoughtseize against you, or you're opening into Ancient Tomb Pass, you're either playing like uphill into any of like 8 discard spells, or if you're playing against Forge and they were on the older list that had multiple flutes, any number of flutes and Kozilek's commands. And post board Kozilek's command is a little bit harder to play around because you also have to consider the dismembers that might be in their deck.
Ah,
What
okay.
Disruptor Flute represents as a flash threat is also, difficult to play around because they can call your cyclers, they can call your Oracle, they can call Doomsday. But with Chancellor, it doesn't really matter how many discard spells the opponent opened on. It doesn't really matter whether they plan to play a flute, a command, whatever. You can reveal it. Their play is stopped. It's uncounterable because you're not actually casting a spell. So if that matters to you, that's there. But what also matters is that it stays in your hand. So when you need a card in your hand to move around for the brainstorm pile, it's
Right.
still there. So you can actually swap it around for your same turn kills while its ability stays there to protect that same kill.
Wonderful. Okay, that's starting to make a lot more sense for me now. So in a way, it's like tripping up the like racehorse a little bit. Your opponent, kind of keeping them off kilter. I love the added benefit of being able to tuck it back after a brainstorm, though. That's pretty gassy. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
sort of it's like the functional inverse of when Moonstompy decks played Gemstone Cavern. That was actually the problem I was having, is I wanted something that was good when you're on the draw. And if you have a Gemstone Cavern of your own, you can have your consign to memory up against whatever their opener is, but then like three cards in your hand are already accounted for in the sense that one is used for the cavern, and then you have one piece of interaction, and then you have the cavern itself. So what are you actually comboing them out with? Chancellor just does the opposite, where it keeps everything in your hand, but it still stops them from doing like something to you. It's also a lot better against the non-blue decks, where again, like post board, you're just getting Thoughtseize like 100% of the
Right,
time, almost.
right. Wonderful. Well, thank you for that explanation. This is great. Are you ready to jam the last two matches?
Yeah, yeah, okay. So when we left off, we played against Blue Black Reanimator, where I think we actually did get the 2-0 on that one. I think
We
one of those
did.
games was really close, and then the other one, I think the opponent tripped on their Oculus, and then we managed to pull ahead with Tamiyo. A lot of that
Yes.
going around in the format right now. After that, there was a Blue-Red Delver. I think I punted game one there, and then we just got like stuffed game two. And then match three, we wandered into Tony. We played
Right.
a whole bunch of Force of Wills on both sides, and I think we won that one too. I think
Yes.
we, at the end of all the Force of Wills, we had the card that actually resolved, which is pretty important in the combo mirror, I guess.
Yeah, and then we had
So
the exciting where we ulted our Tamiyo against Scaponi and didn't find one of our four Doomsdays, and then had to brainstorm fetch and then ponder into the Doomsday. And then I think I got like decision paralysis by looking at all the cards and yeah, and then we decided to stop. I haven't played Magic. I played in paper. So I played a list similar to this. I was trying out it was somewhere between this and what Eureka and Neville should have been playing with the Wastelands. I wanted to try that out. I got the first round bye in paper, and then I got paired against Painter's Servant. My deck just like I had a key cantrip where if I found the ritual I needed, I could have like gone off and won all in the same turn. But then it like I hit Cavern of Souls as my land drop instead of any of the black lands I needed, and then I couldn't like fetch. I had to like give up the gun by playing the Cavern, showing that I was on Doomsday. It was actually a new player, and I ended up getting stuffed to some creatures while I was trying to claw out of a brainstorm lock. And then I lost to my friend who plays Blue Post, Harry Houdini. So this wasn't a very good showing for me, but I did get revenge against my buddy Kyle, who plays Stiflenot, who I got paired against in round one of Eternal Weekend. And so I got my revenge on Doomsday. I managed to sneak out a nice Thassa's Oracle win in game one, with some counter magic and Thoughtseize to back me up. But then game two, I pivoted to some creatures and won with a nice Bowmasters in response to a brainstorm. So I didn't have as fruitful of results as you did, Max. But I thought I'd let you know my Doomsday adventures. But yeah, so this is literally still the same league. So I just decided that I'm just, you know what, I'll focus on philosophy. I won't do any Magic onlining this week. And so I'm happy to finish this league with you and to unlock my own freedom into the leagues again, so we can continue experimenting with the Doomsday. So thanks for coming back
yeah,
around.
let's see how these next two go. One thing I do like about those lists that Neville and Mike have been working on is the long goodbye tech. Um,
Yes.
One of them pointed out that like it does hit both the halves of Tamiyo, so whichever side you catch it, you do have an uncounterable answer to it. But one thing that I like lately is that the ability to come in and hit CMC3 cards without
Mm-hmm.
any actual setup, I think is a little bit more relevant at the moment than the ability to get all the way up to 4 with Fatal Push, which
Right.
um, which can come in handy if you want to, say, remove a Flesh Raker or a Tezzeret so it can't threaten you with the ult, or if you just want to be able to remove a bunch of Barrowgoyfs against any of these blue-black decks, including the Mirror. Uh, like, little things like that, I think, are pretty interesting.
For sure. I played the long goodbye in at Eternal Weekend, just a one of in my sideboard, and I killed many a Tamiyo with it, and it felt very good. I went ahead and took the liberty to keep this hand. Would you like to Thoughtseize? Would you like to Ponder? Would you like to pass with Surveil land up? What are you
Oh,
thinking?
We got a bunch of good 1 CMC cards. I think when your hand is a little more interactive, the Surveil land is really nice. In this case, though, I think we have a lot of good cards, and you want to start unlocking them. There's a couple ways you can go about this, depending on how fast you want to play it. If you want to try for the turn 2 Doomsday, you have a personal tutor that can find it, and then a ponder that can look for a dark ritual. If you miss on the Dark Ritual, but you hit a third land, your Thoughtseize opens up. If you hit a Dark Ritual, you can try a turn 2 Doomsday with Force Backup. The other approach, if you want to spin it out a little bit slower, would be to open on the Thoughtseize, which makes it, the most potent. Um, Knowing that at that point, you're probably going to go like Ponder Personal Tutor and set up for a turn 3. But your Thoughtseize, it's the best because it breaks your opponent's hand open right now, and you know how to make your Force of Will most effective.
Okay. Okay. So you would, with a hand like this with multiple options, given that we only, like, if we had a Dark Ritual or something already in hand, then like Personal Tutor becomes a better play. Here we can lead on Thoughtseize, take their best thing, still have an interaction for their next best thing potentially, or something to protect our Doomsday, and then try to set up next turn to find extra mana either off our draw or ponder, and then put the Doomsday on the stack. That's the route you would take here.
Yeah, if we want to take it a little bit slower, just because we're on the play and we don't necessarily know like who this person is, yeah, you can start out with the Thoughtseize. I like playing it off of the sea here, just because it might not be relevant that we get wastelanded, and if we do get wastelanded, you can just set up with Ponder, look for more land. Oh, wow,
Okay.
okay. Uh,
Pox, huh?
yeah, that's certainly a thing that can happen.
It's probably silly to take a Mox Diamond from them, but I've noticed, so Jacob Murray, who played Pox to the top 8 at Eternal Weekend, plays at my store, and now there's all these Pox guys out there playing Pox at my store, which is kind of annoying. I've noticed that Mox Diamond is one of their like most powerful cards. Like, they seem to be able to do the most busted things, but here, like, I don't know, Pithing Needle seems pretty potent. We could get buried under these small Poxes. I'm the least concerned about the Nihil Spellbomb.
Yeah, so your pick is either you could do a couple of things here. You could take smallpox and accept that you probably have to force another smallpox down the line. You could take the Mox Diamond. There is also like a pretty big problem here that if the opponent wants to blind name Polluted Delta against a deck that opened Sea Thoughtseize, we are in fact holding one, right?
Right.
The problem being, if you take the needle to unlock your land, you are almost certainly going to get smallpox because you have to force something along the way.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it depends on how fast you think we can get through this and how damaging the Pithing Needle is going to be. The Mox Diamond, to your point, is probably the most powerful card in the hand. The other thing you could do is take smallpox and then hope they play a smallpox, which you can then force, which then gives you a turn to play your delta and use it before the needle comes down.
Right.
So I'm going to take a smallpox here and let an opponent
Okay.
have a Mox Diamond, accepting that I'm probably going to have to burn my force on a second one. Because what I would really like to have happen here is to make it back to my next main phase, because we're just holding the wrong fetch land,
Right.
unfortunately.
Right.
Also, if they do play it out like this, it does give us both the smallpoxes out of the way to a certain extent, just because they get resolved, so you don't have to account for it later on when you're trying to actually play through whatever it is you Doomsday for.
Yep. No, that makes sense. I'm a little nervous that if they do, okay, so they're just passing.
Oh, excellent.
Fascinating. Okay.
That's also something I like.
I guess they're concerned about us having a daze maybe for their smallpox.
Okay. So we're probably going to end up playing Ponder Personal Tutor here. I'm okay with a Ponder first, just because the Personal Tutor is going to seal up anything else in the that we see, unless we see two very good cards. The problem with seeing two very good cards, though, is that we have to crack this delta when a needle is there.
Right.
Uh, I guess this is Bowmaster.
Oh, true.
So it would take us down to 17. We'd go down to 16. The opponent would have 3 power. There's a pretty important question of how we would actually finish up a Doomsday pile from here, because again, there is a smallpox that's going to happen. I think you have to let this go just because the smallpox is going to be so bad.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
it's going to be close. Like, this will likely come down to something like get to 3 lands, play a Consider, and then play like a Oracle. All right. So the Dark Ritual is something we want. And then
Yes.
all of these cards are, you know, fine to okay. I would have liked that Daze, last time, but I think we take the Dark Ritual and then we personal tutor.
Okay. I'm happy with that. It is going to suck though, because now they're going to know that we're on Doomsday. They'll be able to name maybe Edge of Autumn, which puts us in a tough-ish spot.
This actually would have been, I think, a lot more difficult if somewhere along the way we ended up losing all of our lands to the Pithing Needle Smallpox
Right.
type
You
of
want
thing.
Underground Sea here, right?
Yeah, there's no point trying to play around Wasteland when you already have an Underground Sea.
Okay.
There is like a super bad future where the opponent like draws a Boseiju, but I just kind of accept that this game maybe just doesn't go that well if the
Yeah,
opponent has
yeah,
like Pox Needle, Orcish Bowmaster off the top. Okay, right. Sometimes the opponent wins the card game.
for sure. Okay. What have you got for me? They peel Thoughtseize? Oh. Going to end step, really?
I mean, I would think if it was another Bowmaster, they would have kind of committed to the bit of playing it.
Yeah.
So there's a couple things we can do. Um, we kind of have a low margin for error here just because the the Doomsday would take us down to 6, and then we go down to 3, which leaves us with exactly 2 in deck. This might be a case where the 2 draws that get us through the pile are like an Edge and then a Ponder, which is 2 cards. But again, like the Needle is a problem. If you
Mm-hmm.
ponder now to search for a useful card, there's an issue in the sense that it gives the opponent 2 damages, right? Like 1 uh, to take you down to 5, and then an extra power on the Orc, which would hit you down to 1, and then the game effectively ends. Unless you pondered for like Undercity Sewers and use the Surveil to get down to 2 cards in deck, and then play an Oracle. Now this has the advantage of being like good against Thoughtseize, but bad against Wasteland, which you haven't seen all game.
Mm-hmm. I feel like
And
it's probably now or never with our Doomsday.
oh yeah, I mean, like we have to Doomsday now. I'm just wondering what we do around it, because you can ponder this turn, and you probably need to because you only have 2 mana, right?
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I'm trying to think of is, this smallpox basically requires us to play a Force of Will. So I think the pile has to be something like we go to 6. Oh, hold on, don't do anything yet. I need to think
Okay.
about this.
Okay.
We go to 6. We play the ponder in our hand, which is going to take us down to 5, and then it gives them 4 power. Uh, that's not good. I think we lose there. So if we Doomsday, how do we not be dead? Because they have a needle and a smallpox. We go to 6. We have to force down to 4. They attack us for 3 to get down to 2. I think we might actually be locked here, but we were just getting stomped by this Bowmasters no matter what, I think.
Yeah.
Because the smallpox also takes a life away from us, right? So it's not actually different from getting force of willed, or for force of willing it, I guess.
Right. Right.
What we probably have to do from here is like take a hit, go to 9, go to 7, cut down to 3, 2. Okay, so I think there is an out. We just have to delay the Doomsday a turn. So if we ponder, we get hit down to 11.
Mm-hmm.
They'd have 4 power, so they'd hit us down to 7. We have to force whatever their play is, and then we go down to 6.
Mm-hmm.
From there, you could Doomsday next turn go down to 3 and make it 2 cards into the deck. So I think we need to ponder here and hit either Edge or Consider and then like another land.
Okay. Let's do it. Taking game
Oh, we used up a
actions.
ton of time. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. We were also talking like about Chancellor of the Annex or something for a little bit at the beginning.
It was really a second Bowmaster?
Now we're just assuredly dead,
Um,
right?
yeah, I think this is just a loss for us because again, like there's a smallpox waiting. So we'd go down to 11, get hit down to 9, we'd get attacked for 3. Yeah, that's just lethal.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, opponent opened double smallpox and a needle, and then their draws were runner, runner, bowmaster.
That's pretty good for
That's
sure.
unfortunate. I would take out the duress and the flusterstorm.
Russ, Fluster.
This is not a cavern matchup. Can probably take out A days. They have a lot of mana ramp and flash cards.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Force of Negations here. Jace is also pretty useful.
Forces. Oh,
For the
Jesus.
third one.
There we go. Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought I pulled the Force, but it was the Jace. And then.
I think I'm fine as it is. I don't know that the Barrowgoyf would actually get you very far, just because they are a smallpox deck, and he would often just be the only creature standing there.
Right.
With Tamiyo, at least you can turn it into a planeswalker. I would just run this out.
Okay.
Post board, they might have flutes, they might have endurances.
Yep.
Runner Runner Bowmaster is like kind of tough. This is one of those games where I think if you had tutored first, it would actually be,
In a
fast
better.
enough
Right.
by forcing whatever it is they spend their mana on that if we pondered and hit that dark rit, we could have been a turn ahead. But there's also a chance that, we fall behind those smallpoxes and get got there.
Right. What are you thinking about this hand looking ahead to the future?
I think this is not it's not incredible. Like the best hand you could get would just be like land dark rit doomsday, some way to
Mm-hmm.
interact. But against a deck with a lot of discard spells and a lot of like potent, disruptive effects, the fact this has Force, Thoughtseize, and then a Brainstorm to turn this Oracle and Force into something else, I think this is fine.
Okay.
I'd probably just start out Thoughtseizing.
Sounds good. Run it back. See what happens. Okay.
I would probably just take the Orc and accept that we're getting wastelanded.
Okay. Makes sense. The Orc was
We could
rather.
take the Diamond for the sake of like slowing things down. But I just don't think that matters quite as much.
Yeah, I'm fine. I think here I would like to not have to sweat about the Orc. We don't force the Diamond, though. Obviously, that seems goofy. I'm going to let it resolve. Ooh, they're going in on a spell. They just love drawing Orcs, Max.
I would force.
Pitching Oracle?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
We play 2, right? Yes. It's been a little. Okay.
All right, I would Brainstorm here. Because we know there's really nothing here we need to force. I think this edge turning it to something else is fine. Yeah, this is okay. I would just deploy Tamiyo. We have Force of Negation and Force of Will, so we can get out of the Loam Lock, and we can hopefully just farm this Tamiyo for clues.
Okay.
This is also why I was like pretty okay with getting the Bowmasters out of the way here, just because getting Wasteland here will be bad, but you can break the Loam Lock here.
Right.
And then if as soon as you draw a second land, you now have a card advantage engine that they're not super well suited to interact with.
Yep. This is Thoughtseize. Oh, no. Okay. Bizarre. Boom, boom. So we got Catacomb,
Okay.
Unknown card.
Yeah. I would just get Clue, play. Uh, I guess there's more Thoughtseizes and Void Mirrors post board than there would be Witherbloom commands, and Witherbloom command would kill our Tamiyo anyways, so you may as well just play the pedal
Yep.
and then pass.
Okay. Do that. You're not burning the pedal for a card though, right? No.
Probably not. Like it's not the worst thing in the world if the clues pile up, because what you can do on like a given turn, because like we need to find a second land, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
if we just never do and the opponent gets ahead of us, we lose, right? Like that's just how this happens. The opponent had like a bunch of cards that mattered, and Orcish Bowmasters, Runner, both games. Like I accept that that's just how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in this case, the games we win are something like we hit a second land, we get to start converting clues. Oh, cool. I guess we just lose because they hit the smallpox. All
Wow.
right. Um,
I just
I
scoop
would
it.
crack clue here on the off chance that you get days.
We have the one of
I think
days,
that's
right?
the only way.
Oh no.
Okay. Well, I understand this looks kind of silly because we like lose everything now, but I don't think you win a game where this smallpox resolves just because you have no land, you have like pedal a clue,
For
and you're just
sure.
getting hit with damage.
Yeah,
Days would have been good.
days would have been sick. I okay. I mean,
Okay, well, I guess if I had known that our next two cards would be Doomsday, Darkrit, I would have been okay with that pedal. Um,
I'm gonna
that
take
being
like one
said,
more draw step, but I think it's we're pretty cooked, right?
well, let's see. If we had done that, we would be at
Oh
7.
my god. Do we hold this?
Yeah, I mean, like they're a wasteland deck, and we don't have
Yeah.
anything to do right now.
Yep.
Um, but anyway, even if we had waited, we would have gone to 7. They'd hit us down to 5, 3, 1. You'd have to go like land, Oracle, and you're pretty vulnerable to basically anything else happening.
Yeah.
I don't know if we would even beat this saga, for instance.
Yeah, the
I don't know.
sagas.
I think the smallpox just always beats you, no matter which way you slice it. Awesome, love that.
Cool. Cool
This
to throw in
might
the
just
towel.
be what do we draw from here? Yeah, because even if we draw Doomsday, you're behind the Urza saga at this point.
Yeah.
Most of these lists do have the Lava Spur boots, but even if they don't, there's nothing you can build as a pile that would stop you from dying here. So unfortunate, but that's the game.
All right. The pox gets one out on us. That's all right. Our second hand
Yeah,
wasn't like as powerful. Like we kind of needed a lot to go right. Um, and then they got good cards. The first game was a little. The double bowmaster was pretty intense.
right. And I mean, like I said at the start, we did not keep an incredibly powerful hand, but if you mulliganed like really hard to the fast Doomsday, you do have to contend with their hand that would have been an immediate Bowmaster or Wasteland. So it's not always going to be a game you can win,
For
but
sure.
would have liked it if our draws were about as powerful as theirs. Let's see what we can do in this last match.
Alrighty. This one, I mean, I'm happy to keep this.
Yeah, I mean it's on the lower end of hands. I think I mentioned this before, but if you're thinking of like a group of like really powerful cards, I think Brainstorm is what you would count here. There's no forces, there's no dark crits, there's no doomsdays. Uh and Brainstorm is the slowest of those like four-ish cards that I mentioned
Mm,
because you usually don't want to do it turn 1. So we're on the draw, and our like really powerful card is one that you would play on turn 2. So this is like the least exciting of hands that you'd keep, but I think you do keep it.
okay.
Now, fortunately, the opponent going first does kind of give you a clue as to whether you'd want a Thoughtseize or Personal Tutor. Um,
I'm glad that's not an ancient tomb. That's but yeah, let's see what they're doing here. Basic swamp, huh? Urza's bauble.
oh, maybe this is like a Storm variant. I like thought seizing storm opponents.
Same. Okay.
Delta. Okay. Please no needle.
Oh, that would be very bad.
Yeah. All right. So they've seen Delta and Brainstorm. Hmm. Is this like black red aggro, or is this just a very weird blue black tempo opener? I
Is
guess they
blue black?
could fetch a. This could plausibly be blue black tempo that just makes very strange bauble choices.
Yeah, that seems crazy, but maybe, maybe.
I don't
Uh,
dislike Swamp Thoughtseize here, just in case they are tempo, but like, given the fact that we're holding 4 lands, maybe we should just be Underground Sea. Just because getting Wastelanded just means an extra 2 damage, and we do have to get these cantrips out of our hand at some point.
yeah. You want a thought
I like
seize here?
Thoughtseizing. Yeah, I like it because we can't get dazed, and also I really want to take a Bowmasters out of their hand in a game where they know we have a Brainstorm, and I really want this Brainstorm to be good.
Right. Okay. This is new for me. Ampthraptor, right. So that's the Cascade thing. Cabal Therapy, and they know that we have Brainstorm in our hand is rather unfortunate. Lightning Bolt can
I mean, it's not
suck.
even the worst because you can just play your personal tutor, put a Doomsday on top, and then cast it off of like 3 lands. This is
Mm-hmm.
like fine. I almost think we'd want to take the Amped Raptor just because I
Yeah.
feel like it's the way to put the most damage on the board, and we're going to be cutting it very, very close.
Yep.
Um, we might want to think about how typing works, but there's nothing we can take here that won't put another type in their yard.
That is true. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Ampteraptor can be very bad for us, like if they hit some crazy, like, I don't know. I feel like there's a bunch of stuff that would really, like even another lightning bolt would be problematic, right? A thought
Well,
seize.
it's also the issue that if you have Amped Raptor, they can sacrifice it for the therapy and then put a creature type in the yard anyway. So I
Right.
kind of just like minimizing damage because again, I think what we'll probably end up doing here is using Personal Tutor or Ponder to find a Doomsday, cast it, then we're forced to pass,
Okay.
take like 3 damage twice when we're already at like
We have
barely over
15.
10 life. This might not
Yeah.
even be a game we're in just because of the lightning bolt. But I think the Amped Raptor deals more damage than the bolt if we take the bolt anyways.
Right. Yeah, across the turns. That makes sense.
Oh, that's not even considering like, well, what if it just Amp Raptor picks up like a Bowmaster or something?
Okay, so they're going to take our brainstorm here, I would assume.
Yeah. I mean, best case scenario, they feel compelled to like sack Nethergoyf to take our personal tutor or something.
Right, right. One can hope. This thing got big fast too. Wow.
Mm.
Okay.
Oh, this hand is so terrible. We personal tutor, we get hit down to 10,
10.
we Doomsday Pass off of Sea Sewers Swamp. And we get hit down to 1, and then we just die to Bolt. So I think we have to set up some way to kill for multiple turns, but I'm just not sure how we even do that because we don't have the Brainstorm. We get hit down to 10. We Doomsday, we go down to 5. So, I mean, I think we're actually just like locked again unless we find a way to take this bolt. But if they just bolt us in response, maybe we
Right.
have to bolt.
Force bolt? Isn't that the one life though that
Let's see. We personal tutor, we get hit down to 10. We go down to 5. Yeah, that doesn't work. Yeah, I mean, we might just be locked from here. I don't think we have a way to. We can't find enough cards unless we hit like a brainstorm off of a ponder or something.
right.
Maybe that's what we need to do is like sewers first.
Okay.
We need to develop the come into play tapped land.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we probably have to do it anyways because we can't really fetch. So the fact that this is the swamp too, like, oh
That doesn't help.
no, okay,
Because again, like the one card that we know is in their hand is a card that they can just play in response, and then we just lose too much life. I mean, it's a little annoying because the opponent, the bauble is like just made their entire deck slightly better.
mm-hmm.
That's a shuffle. Okay, now we pass. I mean, best case scenario is we hit a brainstorm into like a doomsday and another brainstorm, but even then, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, this Rakdos deck is a lot. I drafted a bunch of decks like this in the powered cube, just like Rakdos aggro with bolts, good mana, low to the ground. They're pretty fun to play. Mm-hmm. That's
Okay.
that's gotta do
This
it,
is
right?
fine. Well, I mean, like again, like the way we win this game is like a really good brainstorm next turn because we have to win next turn somehow, which requires us brainstorming into Doomsday and then another cantrip.
Right.
There's no other way to beat the bolt right now.
Well, we'll draw the
I guess we're
brainstorm.
getting super punished for not like okay, next game. We're getting super punished for not opening our personal tutors early, I guess. But again, like if we had personal tutored and the opponent just like had an Orcish Bowmaster, the whole game kind of collapses on us.
Yeah, for sure. And the first time with the personal tutor, like we didn't have the guaranteed 3 mana either. Like we would have had to ponder for the dark ritual, like in the last match. So I don't know. It's kind of just
All right.
unfortunate.
Well, I mean, we can at least try to play some Barrowgoyfs this game. I think that's a pretty productive card for the aggro deck.
Absolutely.
I kind of like the idea of Nile Spellbombs just because they are a Nethergoyf deck and also
Mm-hmm.
have Theros. Duress, Fluster, probably not too great. I don't think this is a Tamiyo matchup just because they get bolted, red blasted, whatever. You probably do want Cavern for the games where you do play your Oracles just because you need the ability to not lose to Pyroblast.
Yep. I like that. Day seems fine. You just want to swap it
We
like
could
this?
uh well, there's the question of like, do you want Murktides just because they'd probably be bigger than anything their deck has, but you have to wonder like, okay, how do those interact with um how are those going to interact with Pyroblasts? Because I kind of don't want Thoughtseizes either because they're kind of like this attrition deck, and I don't want to lose a bunch of life.
Right. Can we play like we can't play duress over Thoughtseize either, right? Because like we care
Well, I just
about.
don't think playing this card against the like kind of Jundish deck is particularly good.
Okay.
If we put in Murktides, how does that look? Yeah. Okay.
The blast could get them, but like we could leave in a Tamiyo or something, or
Yeah,
like a
I'm just kind of wondering, like, what if we try like Force of Negation or something? We can probably leave a Thoughtseize in. It's probably not the worst.
do
I don't know.
this. Let's
I'm
see.
kind of skeptical on the Murktide, but
I am.
also, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of matchup experience against red black aggro. Maybe the Nile spellbombs are just worse than Thoughtseizes, but I do like that they're additional types for Barrowgoyf. They're also like cantrips for our Doomsday pile, things like
Mm-hmm.
that.
We'll try out the Murktide. I'm a little scared about the Pyroblast. Like part of me thinks that you could like play the Tamiyos too to like clear the path for the Murktide. You know, like force them to blast the Tamiyo and then resolve the dragon. But that seems a little sketchy. This hand also does not look that fascinating.
Yeah, I would probably mulligan this.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would probably, keep I think bottom the Oracle.
Okay.
Because if they wasteland us, I do want to cycle Edge of Autumn because it puts more types, it puts more stuff in the yard.
Yep.
And now we have 3 lands and it leads to a Barrowgoyf. So I would
Yep.
start with that.
Ponder. Look for like Oh, they're on a mull to 5 too, which is nice for us. We could look for Days, Dark Ritual.
Yeah. What this also does is that if they thought seize us and take a Barrowgoyf, and yeah, like to your point, if we do like ponder into like Dark Rit Doomsday or something, that edge enables kill convert.
Yep. Yep. I like keeping the edge here as well for the other reason, the Wasteland reason you mentioned. First main phase. We are pondering here, though, right?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
So accelerants of any sort would be good. I think this is one of those cases where like if we don't see two good cards, we probably just send it back. Yeah, I think this is pretty good. I would take the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I like Tutor Brainstorm Darkroot, but then there's kind of like this logic of what do you want to do to play around Cabal Therapy. You could float the Darkroot on top and just take the Brainstorm.
Okay.
Because then you're not holding Darkroot or Doomsday, which are two very easy Cabal Therapy calls, if we're
Mm-hmm.
assuming the opponent's like hard mulliganing for discard.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm happy with that. Brainstorm's also a pretty classic name with like a blind Cabal Therapy, but
Yeah. I mean, I do want both those cards, though, so we do have to put one of them into our hand.
yeah. What about putting Personal Tutor into our hand? Like, what if we went Personal Tutor, Dark Ritual, Brainstorm
Well, then you have to go through all three of those cards,
to
and
get
if our
right? Okay.
Barrowgoyf lands, I might not even want the tutor.
Right. Yeah, yeah, that
Um,
makes sense. That makes
I mean, we'll
sense.
end up drawing it, but you know,
Yeah, okay. Let's float the ritual, I think, on top. They
because
might
now if we do have to brainstorm next turn and we have that available, whereas if we waited to draw through the tutor, our brainstorm is like a whole turn later. And I do
yeah.
like that we can resolve the brainstorm before Orcish Bowmasters.
I like all of those things too. The only reason I had mentioned the tutor was that I feel like it's the card they'd be least likely to name off of their therapy. Okay, this is nice, I think. You want to cycle the edge here or
Yeah,
hold
I think
it?
that's fine.
Yeah. Got it. And then just jam a Goyf down their throat.
Yep. It's not like super exciting, but now we're sitting on a personal tutor that we can play behind the Barrowgoyf. And if we get to assemble two colored sources, Dark Red Doomsday Brainstorm, the Cavern of Souls is your extra card to kill convert, and in the meantime, you just start swinging with the Barrowgoyf.
Yeah, and this is coming in out of bolt range, courtesy of this instant, which is also
Yep.
nice. Hopefully, they just have like a pyroblast or something. I don't know. They showed us bolts too, so they might not be on like a full set of fatal pushes. Channeler. Urza's
Okay. I mean
purple.
that is a fourth type if they want to actually use that.
I'm here
For
for
us,
it.
not for
Yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. You know they want their card. Oh yeah. Saw Cavern of Souls.
I guess it would be pretty handy if our Barrowgoyf hit one of the Murktides, because then, awkwardly enough, you could play it off of a Cavern of Souls.
I love
But
that
I would
draw.
just attack and see what happens. Other good outcome would be something like Fetch Land, so then we could play would brainstorm into Fetch Land, and then we could play Personal Tutor.
Yes. Maybe they'll double pyrokinesis our Barrowgoyf. No, no chance.
Make for a great days.
That it would. That it would. Feels so good to connect. Ooh. Another Goyf.
Yeah, I mean, I think having that is more valuable than Goyf being a 5/6. So let's see where this brainstorm takes us, I guess.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I guess we play Arcrit Goyf and keep Days Murktide.
So, you,
That seems way more powerful
yeah,
than
yeah.
land that is weird and tutor that does nothing for a turn.
Yep.
Okay, so we got to play the Goyfs. That's
The
good. We
Goyfs are
had some
good.
good Cameo games. We had some good Bargoyf games.
We had some good Tamiyo games, too.
I
Or
think
is
the
that?
only thing we didn't get to do with this list was play Cabal Ritual against like a Lockpiece deck, because that's the good
Oh
matchup to have
yeah,
Cabal.
yeah, for sure, for sure. I would have loved to get some good. Oh, nice.
Yep, that's fair. Oh, this is actually kind of handy. They didn't see the Murktuds.
They did
So
not.
if you're playing through the kind of like layer by layer psychology here, they didn't see a card that would have made Pyroblast good, and they saw a bunch of cards that made Pyroblast look bad. So if they value it less, and then you get to play the Murktide, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Um, yeah, okay, so the deck really does seem to be about creatures. I'm kind of flip-flopping on this Nile Spellbomb just because I don't know how much it's actually going to do for us. Maybe we are just supposed to have the Thoughtseizes, because we do want to be able to take away creatures. Like Thoughtseizing an Orcish Bowmaster keeps you ahead of it when we're on the draw like this. Maybe Nile Spellbomb is just like too silly, even though they are like a Delirium-ish deck. I think our
Yeah,
Barrowgoyf growing from their Delirium is
pretty
enough of a
sweet
payoff.
for sure. Yeah, like I guess like we can
Yeah.
use the bauble or the spell bomb like as a banked draw through bowmasters in like spots where street rate's not good, but in those spots we could just ponder what I would consider because it's still a mana. Like we would need to be pretty heavy into the Cabal ritual or something, right?
Yeah, I mean, it feels less bad on the play just because you have like a turn where you could pretty comfortably set it up. But again, like I just don't want to fall behind like Bowmasters or something.
For sure. Okay. Yeah, let's go back in, but with the thought seizes. This
I
is
mean, I think you actually
clunky.
have to mulligan this. This
Yeah.
is kind of like the hand you had before. It was like 4 lands or whatever. Like, yes, you'd like lands, but not this many.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think you just have to send this back. Like, what if you get Wasteland and the game basically ends?
Oh, this is kind of
This,
the nuts, isn't it?
yeah, this is a turn 1 kill if you don't get interrupted. Even then, I would probably keep this. And this is very greedy, but I'm going to put the Thoughtseize back. Ideally, I would never have time to play it because we get like even if you get discarded, you want to ponder into whatever was taken or just like be really lucky and rip it off the top.
Yeah, well, Thoughtseize bug into the Doomsday. I'm happy with putting Thoughtseize
Yeah.
back.
Well, I would be fine with like, okay, they thought seizes, they take a Doomsday, and then you rip a Barrowgoyf or something. Like that works too. I would accept that.
Channeler.
Uh yeah, like Channeler die to the combo is also a welcome outcome.
Nethergoyf?
I'm
Ah,
gonna
no, no.
Yep, okay.
All right. All right. Makes sense.
Yep.
Where were you? Okay. Underground Sea Ponder.
Well, I would cycle the Wraith. I
Cycle the
mean, I think it's
Wraith.
just very low odds that like you keep the Wraith if you think we're going to ponder into a Doomsday and you want to preserve the kill. Or you keep the Wraith if you want to get like good card plus blue cards so you can get the Force on top. Like if you think like, hey, I want to ponder into 2 good cards, I think you keep the Wraith. If you're more pragmatic and you're like, okay, I just want like anything I can Dark Rid into, you cycle this Wraith.
Okay.
You get what I'm getting at?
Yeah. I think I like generally hold my wraiths too much like when I play, so I'm down to try being a bit more aggressive with it. Like especially now that we have Barrowgoyfs in the deck too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
like
yeah.
even if you cycle and you immediately get the Doomsday, you'll feel silly because you let the kill go away. But if you hit the Doomsday, then you could just go like, oh, okay, I'll Dark Rit Doomsday, and now I'm holding Force plus blue card, right?
Right. Do you want to play off Island here, Max?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fine. Because if we get a Barrowgoyf and we want to rush it out this turn, you would be doing it off the pedal either way.
Right. Guess we any order those.
Yep,
Uh
awesome.
hold the pedal,
I would play it.
play it.
Because what you don't want to have happen is like you get therapy, they take all your dark writs, and then you don't have a way to play a Barrowgoyf next turn.
True.
And like this keep kind of fell apart just because we missed on the cycler, we missed on the ponder. But I think keeping the 6 had an incredible like high end potential. And if your plan is like, I'm not going to keep the 6 because it looks bad if you get Thoughtseize, what is the 5 you're keeping that
Right.
is better against getting Thoughtseize?
Right, right. Oh, they just hit an Urza's Bauble, so that's good. They see the Dark Ritual, which is bad for the Cabal Therapy. Bad for us,
Well,
that
they
is.
knew we had a Dark Crit because of the Thoughtseize, so technically they got no new information.
Oh, true, 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 true.
Yeah. Oh,
Well, let's
yeah.
see.
Let's see where that takes us.
That's a pretty good one.
Okay, I mean, I guess I would put back like one of those Dark Crits and one of those Oracles, and then we would just set up sewers, I guess.
There's no
I think
world
this
where we're
game is like
jamming an Oracle, is there? Like put back
not really.
Dark Ritual, Underground Sea, play Thassa's Oracle, off pedal, look for Barrowgoyf or Doomsday,
Well,
or is
if you
that
found a
not good?
Doomsday, uh,
It then
well,
also gives us a 1/3 to block their 2/1 first strike.
well, if you do that, we run out of win conditions if we have to force pitching Oracle. So if you wanted to play an Oracle, wouldn't we be putting back the force because you just don't have blue cards at that point?
True, true. Okay. Yeah, 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 I see that. I see that. Because then we'd have to bank on our Oracle dying. We can't make like a Barrowgoyf Doomsday pile, can we?
Um, well, I mean, the main problem is like where are the Oracles? Like if the plan is beat down, taking all the types out of your yard by resolving a Doomsday doesn't really work, right?
Right, 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 right. Okay. So you want to put back an Oracle and a Dark Ritual? And then use the Surveil
Well,
land to look?
the other thing you could do is put back Ritual Force and then play the Oracle. Or just accept that this game will just never be about a Doomsday, and then play your Oracle looking almost exclusively for Barrowgoyfs, or Murktides.
Hmm.
So we could put back like 2 Dark Writs, for instance.
Yeah, that I don't mind that maybe. It does put us
Yeah,
off the Doomsday, but oh no, it doesn't.
yeah. Like, well, it doesn't like right now, but there's a ton of different ways where like if you're playing an Oracle now, you will either end up pitching your other Oracle to force or getting your Oracle like discarded or something. Because
Right.
if you have to play the Doomsday, the Oracle is left in your hand, and you likely would not have time to resolve another one.
True.
Another
Okay.
Doomsday, I mean.
Okay.
So I would say let's send the Dark Writs back. The other thing that I probably should have thought of quicker is that they know we're holding Dark Writs and they're a Cabal Therapy deck, so like putting away the card they know. Because we have 3 mana, so we can
You
try Oracling. It sees a little bit more than the sewers, and to your point, it does block the 2/1.
do you want to burn the pedal for it, or do you want to take it like a turn slower and surveil in between?
Uh, well, that does also give you more opportunity to see if you use this force or not. So, I mean, I think that's not bad either, because also, like, this prevents you from getting wastelanded.
Yeah.
So we could
Okay.
probably just let this go. And this is maybe just the best of all worlds if we just wait a little bit.
Yep. Yeah. Let's try that.
It would be really awkward, though, if we ended up, like, surveilling into a Doomsday, because then what likely ends up happening is you have to Doomsday with the Oracle in your hand.
I suppose we'll cross that bridge when we when we get to it. But yeah, that brainstorm did not show us the kind of juice that I was hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, getting Thoughtseized and then seeing like a bunch of lands and dark writs and oracles instead of more of your like powerful spells is not great. I feel like again, like we're playing against these aggro decks, like well, I mean Lone Pox is debatably not an aggro deck, but when it just draws a bunch of Bowmasters, it kind of is. We're playing against these like black aggro decks that just discard all your cards and then just have like yeah, this just resolves. That just discard all your cards and then just have like better top decks, at least here. I don't know if in theory they do, but they certainly are in game. This isn't that bad, I guess. Therapy would be awkward.
It really would. They totally have it. Oh no. Bowman. Okay. Well, Oracle
I
kind of
mean,
just stonewalls this entire board as well.
A Murktide is winning this, kinda.
Can they attack like into us if they don't have a way to stop our Oracle too? Like, we got a lot of life. All right, give us the goods.
Well, I think the question is more like, what are the other like three cards in their hand? That's not the goods. Get that out of here.
No.
I would do it. Like, there's so many cards you can hit from here that actually put you in the driver's seat. Because if you can hit a Murktide from here, it's an 8/8, so that two shots them. Shuffle that. Like, if
Yep.
you're taking one damage here from you're taking one damage here from Bowmasters, but if you had to sit there and draw all of those, you would have lost anyways.
Right.
I think this is the second game where we pondered into garbage, shuffled, and then drew one of the cards.
Yeah,
That's
it's true.
not ideal.
Not ideal at all. I'm gonna play an Oracle.
Yep.
So like, if there's like a Barrowgoyf on top of our deck, we can Thoughtseize them next turn and then jam the like take the removal spell, quote unquote, and then play the Barrowgoyf. I just hope they don't have more threats.
Yeah, I mean the other interesting thing about a Thoughtseize here is that while you would be losing a bunch of life, let's Oracle and see what we find first. While you would be losing 2 life in like a very close situation, taking a Pyroblast or like a Bolt out of their hand, if we're trying to turn this into a race,
No,
would
right?
matter.
Do you want Ponder, or is that too risky to turn it into a 3/3?
I mean, you really don't want to miss, but yeah, making it a 3/3 is kind of weird. Maybe we are just supposed to pass. Yeah, let's just, because we already have another Oracle. Yeah,
So,
I would just let it pass.
okay.
Because if nothing else, there's a bunch of stuff they don't want to attack with, and then you can stop the tokens right now, so you can maybe just like stem the bleeding entirely.
Do you want to Thoughtseize here, or just hold it? Hold it, probably.
I think playing it is fine. I think the cards that like win us this game, we're not going to ponder into them because we sent it away, and taking a
Okay,
Bolter or a Pyroblast here would actually save us a lot of damage.
for sure. Ooh, whoa, whoa. Okay.
Oh, it probably so Steel Cutter's annoying, right? Because
It
that
is.
means the bow. I think you have to take Molten Collapse though, right? Because
So
like
that.
any game we're winning from here is one where you draw a Murktide or a Barrowgoyf.
Yep. I agree.
So okay, so now they can strap up the Raptor and swing. It would take a ton of oh wait, no, that's a come into play tapped land. Okay, never
It
mind.
is. That's good.
Yeah, that gives us a turn of not taking damage because you have favorable blocks on everything right now. If you can actually draw the Murktide here, uh, pretty good timing. Did they draw second spell, I guess? Did they just like hit a bauble or something? Yep.
It's a Bolt. Oh my god, dude. Oh no.
Well, I don't know you're winning the race anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, we tried.
So that's 2, 4, 6. Yeah, you go down to 4.
If we draw exactly Barrowgoyf, do we have a chance? Maybe.
Um, I can't think of a better card you could draw right now. Because now if you draw the Murktide, it doesn't actually win anymore. They just attack through it. So it has to be a Barrowgoyf. That is a good draw. I mean,
The Bolt was
why
yeah,
even play
especially good.
here?
Sorry. All right, here we go. Goyf. Oh yes, 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 yes.
Okay. Uh, Game still in progress, I guess.
You must trust in the Barrowgoyf.
So they milled the Darcy away, so there's a chance they can miss from here. And like they're highly incentivized to block if we attack, because if we hit another Barrowgoyf, uh oh well that's bad. Are we losing now?
Uh, 3. We're at effectively 8. I can block a 3/3. I think we're still alive. I'm not even sure.
Well, I mean, all we can do is block, so we don't really have to think.
Now,
Okay.
do we attack? Like,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they have 9 damage. We could swing, and again, they're highly incentivized to block. We would go to 8, and then we would play an Oracle as a blocker.
mm-hmm.
And then even if we're blocking like the 2-1, we would be living at 1. I kind of like attacking.
I like
Because
attacking
again,
too.
like we force blocks pretty well. They know we have a blocker to stop it from being lethal damage next turn. So I think they probably have to put something in the way.
Yeah, I feel like if they're letting this through. Wow. Because now we can hit
Okay.
like Murktide too, right? Like, and then we have double
Yeah,
blocker.
I mean, like best case scenario is just to hit a creature, and we're milling 5. Oh,
Hit. There we go.
excellent. Okay, I would just deploy both the creatures. Oh, Murktide first.
Murktide first.
The devotion matters.
Oh, true. It does. It does. So let's go. They have a instant sorcery, and I
Well,
guess
just you can pick
sorcery.
enough instants and sorceries that weren't 8/8 without losing any type coverage.
Yep. I was just making sure that's what I was doing. Boss's
Yeah,
Oracle. No response. Kind of
none
don't
of that is
want any of those.
no, it's fine. Okay, that was good. Now we have 2
And
blockers. They have
even if they rip
1
like a
draw.
pyroblast for the Murktide, okay.
Oh, well, okay. That is not that bad. It's nothing this turn, so we at least get to a combat step.
And if they like don't push damage here, like we're just getting farther out of reach. Letting
Right.
letting this thing go through was wild. Yeah, they have to push damage here. So what do we want to kill?
Um, well, we want to park the Murktide in front of the token, right?
The orc or the monk? Sorry.
Well, everything that well, they're both 3 damage, but the monk has prowess, and the opponent could have up to 2 spells next turn, so I think you technically block more damage, potentially, by taking the prowess creature away.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And then we can take the two
well,
one. Like if we block like
yeah.
this, then we take 5. We go to 3, and then we attack for
Wait, they're
5
just
back to 8. Or they're just
wait,
dead
wait, stop,
then.
stop, 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 stop. Oh, okay. I was gonna say they attacked with everything, so what we should be doing is blocking to optimize not dying to bolt. So we just block the 3/3, both of them.
Oh, I see. Because if they draw bolt off of their, they shouldn't have
Right.
scooped
So
because they should have given themselves the out to draw bolt off of the bauble.
well, I would have started. I would have started interrupting you, but what we should have done is block both the 3/3s, take 4, go to 4, swing, because then if they hit a bolt, they can't actually kill us.
Right.
That's actually how you lose this game.
Yes, I didn't make it there. I was lining these up just as like this seems like something we might do, but I agree. So the correct block would have been put the oracle in front of the army, take 1, 2, 3, 4, go to 4, don't die to bolt off the top, and then crack back for lethal.
Right. It gets complicated if their draw is a pyroblast, because then that kills the Murktide. But then your Barrowgoyf can hit more Barrowgoyfs. Okay, so we managed to at the last second beat the can't do combat math allegations because you did not click declare blockers. They conceded first, so we
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
screw it
yeah.
up.
Yeah, no, I wasn't going to click blockers. I was just lining them up to be like at a first pass this is what I would do without further reflection. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
And
So we
then
did
further
catch it.
reflection was like, oh no, we blocked the orc army. This is why I bring Max along with me, and I don't go into these dark woods alone.
Yeah. Okay, so that basically worked, I guess. We got to do all the stuff like more or less. I think we did cast a Cabal Ritual at some point in the league, so I'm going to give that the credit. The entire deck did the thing that I intended for it to do,
Good,
basically.
good, good, good.
Um,
Yeah, the match against
the loss against Delver feels bad because I feel like I could have done something about that. The loss to Lone Pox, not as much. We maybe did just get punished for taking it too slow. We probably could have just been personal tutoring faster, harder. I don't know that you necessarily beat that because you wouldn't know with the Thoughtseize that the smallpox into Needle is coming. I could see you still losing that game,
right.
but I don't know. It's just kind of annoying when they have like good cards and then draw more good cards.
It is true. And yeah, we are I feel like some of our cantrips, I mean, we got everything balanced itself out by top decking that Barrowgoyf there. But some of our cantrips did not give us the sorts of things that we were hoping to find either. So
Well,
yeah.
that's good content, right? You want to keep your viewer on the edge of their seat
Oh,
wondering like,
exactly.
wow, is Max ever going to stop complaining? And like, no, right? But the tension is what keeps you
Keeps you
drawn in.
engaged. Absolutely. I love it. I love it. Oh man, Max, thanks so much for chatting for like an hour about Doomsday and then playing like 3 hours of Doomsday matches. I I really appreciate your guidance and your wisdom coming along on the journey. Do you have any like I don't know parting words for my few hundred subscribers? The last video seems to be doing well so far. I think people were enjoying our conversation, so that's good. Um, yeah. Any parting words, Max?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would just kind of pull it back to our initial discussion. The format opened up a lot, and I think that's really compelling if you were just kind of looking for like, okay, should I just be like playing more Magic lately? I wasn't really feeling great about it. You see in a lot of different lists, a lot of uh events that have higher participation in terms of just like more players in these challenges, for instance. It seems to be a good time to play. There's a lot of stuff going around. I can't give, unfortunately, like super solid recommendations on what to do just because I don't have like a ton of time to play all the lists I wanted to do. I think when we were discussing this, I mentioned this sort of list is the one that I thought would be the best. So it was kind of last on my queue to test, but there's other stuff you can be doing. Like I think one thing that I just haven't had time to do yet, but could potentially be really good is Esper, just
Mm.
because there's a ton of lists. You see these like fair blue lists that are like Bug or Esper themselves, and their sideboards all start with like four consigned to memory. Or you see these lists that have blue post with its chalices to make discard spells kind of irrelevant. So when you look at a protection suite of like a bunch of Teferis and a bunch of Flusterstorms, that's not bad against blue post at all because you can Flusterstorm the early forces through a chalice. So if they tap out for it, they actually bring themselves in range of the fluster.
Ah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
can build a really effective hedge against like blue red creatures if you have say some swords and Longabai's prismatic ending, whatever your anti-Tamiyo card of choice is, and then you build around that with something like Baleful Strix or the Teferis to keep Murktides manageable. The blue black reanimator decks, I thought the matchup was very manageable as Esper, and now they're even slower because they don't have Entomb. So
Yep.
if you do want a card that's really good against Consign, really good against random Disruptor Flutes, things like that, Teferi is a big problem solver in the sense that it cuts down the mental load of like accounting for different things. So if you don't want to spend like 5 minutes of your clock talking about like six different ways, double smallpox or whatever could go, you can just Teferi and account for a lot of things a lot more easily.
For sure.
It's also really good against these sort of more interactive Jeskai decks because aside from a kind of middling answer in Prismatic Ending and the very good Pyroblast that you probably have to just be cognizant of all game anyways, it's really hard for their deck to operate when they're playing at sorcery speed, right? Teferi's a really stupidly designed card. And if the The Tamiyo list, I mean, I think the list looked pretty good here. And again, like two people, like there's like a top eight and a top 16 for it with this sort of list. The Tamiyo is really good. If your deck building philosophy is just, I want to put the maximal number of like poorly designed cards that are really good into the deck, maybe Esper's the way to go because Tamiyo is really good at being an early threat, super high power level. Teferi is really good at stopping opponents from interacting. They're both these very stilted, annoying cards.
Yep.
That's how you feel like deck building accumulates power. Perhaps that's something to look into. You also get Swords to Plowshares. I hear that card's really good. I'm not really big on like creature management. That's not really how I got into spell combo, but pretty good answer to a lot of things.
Yeah, well, to add to that, like I think in the discussion that we had, and it bore out in some of the games that we played too. Like one of your main points in favor of Tamiyo was that, like in a Doomsday deck, when you alt Tamiyo, unless you get like kind of unlucky, like we did, and we still got to string it together with our cantrips post alt, but you get to oftentimes just win immediately with your Doomsday, and so like when you're boarding in the Swords to Plowshares, like I think you were describing this in our like even our Discord discussion we were having before. When you board in your Swords to Plowshares, you can kind of use them to protect the Tamiyo, then keeping your forces for their prismatic endings or pyroblasts or like whatever spells they might have to answer. And you just play like a longer game that ends the same way that the shorter ones do with the Thassa's Oracle. But like you get to turn your Brainstorm Tamiyo combo into a Doomsday combo in 4 turns or whatever, using these removal spells to kind of pad your life total. This is, I believe, was my variation of your Esper list, which is pretty close. I might have just been on an extra. Oh no, come to think of it, I think this might be exactly the same as one of your most recent Esper lists. Maybe I added an extra Flusterstorm, but I do really enjoy playing this style of Doomsday deck as well. I think I mean, Teferi's so much fun, like doing weird stuff with Doomsday on your opponent's turn and like making multiple Teferi piles against like control decks. I think there's a lot of fun to be had. So if you ever want to come back on and jam some Esper together, just hit me up. I'm always down.
Yeah. I do have to figure out, I guess, what a post Entomb list looks like. Because I mean, I think we mentioned this before, but you probably just don't need as many days, as many like, duress thought seizes when the games can just go longer a little
Yeah.
bit. And I think Riddler, I think a lot of people tried it. I had a lot of people at Eternal Weekend. We all basically had the same sort of discussion of like, is Riddler good? Now tell them it seemed, not too great, and they would say, oh yeah, I kind of the same. I was wondering if I was missing something. And it's like, well, no. I mean, like the card's fine, but you can do without it. Um, so I don't know if Riddler would have a spot in the 75 if I like sat down and built this deck again. Um, but yeah, Esper could be really good. The tempo lists with Stifle Wasteland or, main deck creatures that aren't Tamiyo and Wasteland. Blue black, just, with some solid Tamiyo support, maybe like either what we set up with the Murktide Barrowgoyfs, or maybe, a more interactive type of thing with Bowmasters and Long Goodbyes. There was a Kaido list I played a little while back that was like, it was okay. There's a lot of options, which probably isn't a great thing to hear going into like an Eternal Weekend or something, because, audibles aren't great. You really want to feel confident in what you're doing.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of powerful choices you can make, and fundamentally, the Doomsday into Oracle type of thing is just very powerful. It's not quite Entomb Reanimate, but Dark Rit Doomsday is pretty imposing in its own right.
I agree with that. I think the shell is like quite strong as long as you can answer those key cards like consign to memory, have some way, like being aware of Disruptor Flute and Causelix Command, all the kind of main cards in the format that can stop you. As long as you play aware of the kinds of things that your opponent can have, I feel like you can season the shell to taste based off like play style or whatnot. I do think Barrowgoyfs might be important though, given the amount of cutter that there is in the format. Like I would, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I would want to have some life gain to fight against cutter particularly, because that seems challenging. But yeah. I have one question for you, Max, if you wouldn't mind answering one theoretical question.
Sure.
So I mean, there's been a bunch of videos in like the Storm community, right? Like I think Tony Scapone has one, maybe Brian Cook has one too, about like how to play your Storm turn, and they'll talk about like efficiencies, like count your mana and your Storm separately, like count your mana first. Little like helpful bits of advice like that. If you were to make a video or something like that about Doomsday and what you would do on your Doomsday turn, what strategies might you recommend to people? Like, do you think about counting mana first, or looking at ways to crack into your pile, etc., etc.? And then, as a second part, and this is the part that I think I struggle with most with Doomsday, I think that I'm like really good at identifying all of the things that my opponent could have, but when it comes to actually deciding like what to play around or how I want to build my pile, right, because we often can't beat all the things, I get bogged down, and then my anxiety kind of creeps back in, and it's kind of like an anxiety where you're like swimming in multiple possibilities, similar to the situation where we had drawn half our deck with Tamiyo, and it's like, okay, well, we can win 100 ways. How do I construct my pile here? So do you have any strategies? Like, how do you come to decide generally on what kind of pile you want to make? And do you have any other tips for pile construction for anyone who's getting into Doomsday? Sorry, that was a lot. I had a question, and then it kind of divulged into a bunch of extra bits. But
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fine question. It's not like too different a concept of like how do you construct a storm turn versus how do you construct a doomsday turn. I mean, once upon a time, doomsday was a storm deck, so it's not even that different. Uh, I think where people maybe get tripped up is this idea that not every doomsday pile immediately has to end in a kill. There are ways you can do that, right? Like when we're constructing like a lines of diamond pile, it's really not too different than a storm combo. It's just maybe a little jankier, and it like goes in some like unexpected ways, but it's still the same concept of like I'm using very particular spells to achieve like a very certain string of events. It's just your payoff spell at the end isn't a storm spell that counts all the actions you did. It's an oracle that accounts for all the card draw you did, or the card elimination, I guess.
right,
Same kind of difference. So a lot of the rules, I guess, when you think about how sequencing works, would still apply. There's still opportunities to say make certain points of interaction look more important than another. So, for example, if you want to rewind all the way back to the blue-red game, I think we identified that the correct path probably would have been to surveil or like shuffle away the other Thoughtseize and
yep,
try to have a blue card to pair with our force. So in a situation like that, if we actually spun that out and like did it correctly, there's an interesting opportunity of like, okay, we have Cabal Ritual and a Petal, and then a mana to play our another Thoughtseize. They have two forces. We need them to bite on something so we can force their force and then get to our LED.
right,
So you can think about it as saying, okay, we're dead if we pass the turn. So maybe you just throw out your Cabal Ritual off of two lands. So then it looks very, very counterable, right? Um, I'd even, Thoughtseize first, take one force Cabal Ritual in the face of the other, so it looks like, oh, if I let this resolve, they'll just play another discard spell, maybe. Something like that.
right,
Right? There's these considerations of like, you can't beat a daze because then they'd have two forces and a daze, and you can't same turn kill then anyways. So just act like daze doesn't exist. And if daze doesn't exist, what do you want to do? You want to make one of your spells look very force of willable so that you can force their force and then unblock your LED line. So there's things like that where you just have to think about what am I trying to achieve, right? And in this case, it was like, all right, we should have made better use of the force of will, but in a world where we actually, stuck to that plan instead of audibling off of it. Oh, that's another thing. Maybe just stick to the plan you
stick to
make,
the
right?
plan. Yeah,
If you try to like slant halfway through and then go in a different direction, you might often just find you don't have enough resources or enough time to do like either. You can't really split the difference in Magic when you're picking a combo line because you can't do something like a little bit. It either worked or it didn't, and I think that's what dissuades some people. You're like, you don't want to misplay and then suddenly find that like, oh, I just don't have any way to win the game anymore.
Right.
But if you're playing Delver, if you're playing like a Death and Taxes, whatever, if you did like a bad setup and you lose, you lost because of your misplay. But it takes time because you just kind of have to watch your board position like degrade and then lose a bunch of exchanges. But in a way, as far as you like, if you were really looking at it objectively, you probably lost just as decisively as like we might when we made our pile and then realized, oh, there's not two edges in this deck.
Right, right.
Right? So it kind of works the same way. One is just perhaps more noticeable. You don't really want to screw up playing any legacy deck. The power level of the format's too high. The interactions are too like esoteric that you don't want to put yourself a step behind,
Right.
right? It's not even accounting for the fact when you're playing against like a good player who maybe just read the game a little farther along than you did. You can get outplayed sometimes. It's pretty embarrassing. Um, but yeah, think about what you're doing, form a plan and stick to it. And then I think one of the things that just maybe people should do more often if they're just trying to reduce the number of times where they just find that they're like frustrated by losing is just ask like, okay, what happens next, right? Like if I doomsday and pass, what does the opponent do? And that's something that came up in the game against Red Black where we took a lot of damage and we thoughtseize them instead of setting up a personal tutor. So we're kind of a turn behind their developed board. So the what happens next, and I was describing it a lot, was just, oh, we take a lot of damage against our halved life total, and it's
Right.
actually very difficult to put a line together where you're not just dying to the lightning bolt. Now, very likely the the amped raptor or whatever it is deals more damage. So maybe you just kind of lose no matter what. But the what happens next of like how does your pile have to work is really important because seeing how that tends to work actually disqualifies a lot of choices. If what you're really afraid of is like a really big decision tree that you can't manage, the first thing you can do is just start cutting off whole swaths of it that just lead immediately to you losing. You maybe
Right.
need to go down those paths if they're like, what do I do if I want to pass 2 turns? Well, okay, I see a 4 power creature on the board.
Right.
I'm not
Right.
lasting 2 turns.
Right.
So I immediately need to think only of cards that get me through 1 turn or less. So that's how we identified the line of like, let's brainstorm and then hit Doomsday and another brainstorm.
Right.
That's not super likely, but I don't see us winning the game any other way. And so
Right.
it's very easy to narrow that down once you start looking at, oh, okay, all of these paths, even if you followed them down to the end, they're actually all, they're all red herrings. Like none of them actually go anywhere.
Right. Okay, that's very very helpful. I need to remember that. I should put it on a sticky note, like what happens next, and just put it next to my computer. So because I think even just asking yourself that question, like that's the kind of general like method or like procedure that I think is helpful, because it's very easy just to say, oh, like it depends on the context, it depends on what your opponent's played, but like that's all true, but to know that here's a question I can ask myself to prompt me to look at the context to see what my opponent's played, whether like the decisions they've made are like conducive to a strong keep. They went turn 1 Chalice, turn 2 Blood Moon. I answered both of them. Maybe they don't have like another Blood Moon or something, right? Like you would expect them to have kept based off the strength of those cards. So yeah, I think that's actually a very helpful thing to remember. Is always ask yourself what happens next after Doomsday resolves, and then to try to build the pile accordingly. Max, thank you so much, my friend. It's been a pleasure. It's very happy having you on here. Hopefully we can do it again sometime next year, maybe if you're ever down. If you ever have something super spicy you want to share to the world, just feel free to hit me up. I'm always game to jam some Legacy, especially with people who have been doing the Doomsday thing longer than I have. So it's good to be learning all these things. It's nice to chat with you. Good luck in your challenges. Good luck navigating this cruel world, and I'll see you sometime soon, hopefully. Maybe next year at Eternal Weekend.
Yep, sounds good. Good games. Thanks for watching, I guess, audience.
Absolutely.
GG's.
GG's. If anyone wants to, you don't make your own content or anything, right? You're mostly like Twittering or being in the Doomsday Discord. If you want to plug anything, like feel free to, is what I'm trying to say.
No, I think all like solo wonderPreux content at this point is all like lost media. I've given up on pretending that I have the extroversion and time management necessary to be like a man of content. It's just not going to happen.
Sounds good. Well, then I'll just have to mine the content out of you every now and again when you're up for it. Sounds good, Max. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, comment, subscribe, whatever. Hell yeah, Dark Ritual Doomsday in Europe. I want to see some Dark Ritual Doomsdays in the top 8. Peace, everybody.